chaps, welcome back. It's been a long time. It's been a while since I've seen you. Well, not you, Peter. I've seen you recently, but Ollie, I've seen you in bloody ages. It's been a while. A lot's happened, but we're gonna go through it, chat through a bunch of things, talk all things Tottenham. And guys, welcome back, and thanks for viewing. If you are patient enough to still be here, or wise enough to want to listen to three handsome fellas, get into it. And please like, subscribe, love us, share us, fly the flag, referral, cross us, upsell us, make people want to listen to us because we don't get enough listeners. Right. So first game of the season, boys. We're back. We are back. And Peter, well done for having your mug. We're back and we're clinging on to the name. Clinging on to
for now.
I have to Sharpie it out at some point.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's what we'll do. We will just we'll get onto him later. We'll talk about that later. So let's talk about first game of the season first. Let's talk about brilliant performance from the boys, because I have to say it's the most proud I've been of a Tottenham performance. I don't want to sound over the top, but for a long, long time. Like last season was obviously horrible. You've got Mourinho, Mason give it a go, and you played some more attacking football, and it was nice to bail, and there were little positives. But that performance, and I hope it is going to be a stamp of a Nuno team, because it's just the effort levels. It was. I loved it. I loved it so much to watch it. What were the biggest differences you saw from last season to that game? Pete, I'm coming to you first. What did you make of it? And what did you think were the differences in the Nuno team to perhaps a Mourinho team? Forget Mason, he was just interim.
I think if you go back to the time when we beat City under Mourinho, and we won 2-0, similar performance in that we were pragmatic and that we knew we weren't going to have a lot of the ball. But I don't know, it just felt different. It didn't feel the same. Under Mourinho, it felt like for long periods of the game, we were like under the cosh and they were really going at us. And I think we probably said at the time that we controlled the game and won without having a lot of the ball. But this one, it was just effort levels, wasn't it? I can't remember the last time I saw them or everyone put such a shift in. You obviously have 1 or 2, 3, 4 players put a shift in, but every single person was playing for that shirt and seemingly playing for Nuno, which we haven't had. You said about being proud. I can't think of I'd probably go back to the Champions League semi-final when I last felt that sort of level of pride of a Spurs performance. I thought, like, to a man, they were phenomenal. And also they cut out a lot of errors. So when we were under Mourinho against City, there seemed to be, we were giving them back the ball a lot of the time. When we had the ball, we were smart, we used it, we countered quickly. We were smart enough to realise that you can't always counter quickly, it's not always on. And sometimes you need to keep the ball for a little bit, and we did that, which we didn't seem to do under Mourinho. So that was massive for me, that intelligence level of, yes, the counter's on, let's go. Or no, it's not there this time, let's recycle the ball and let's see if we can work something else out, which was really, really good. And just the whole performance was phenomenal. Like from front to back, he picked out the front three, saying their work rate was massive, because he said like how City build from the back and they build and build and build. But they got to a point where they stopped building. They just was like, so many times they had the ball as a back four and just stood still. Mm. And I think that was down to the fact that they were getting pressed and harried in midfield areas, and especially when they got into the final third of the pitch, there was just no space for them. So they were looking and there was nothing on, which was brilliant. Like Nuno, for me, got it spot on, set out beautifully. And I said it on Sunday after the game, it reminds me a little bit of early Poch, how they seem to love him so much. And weirdly, I saw a little report come out that said, some players feel ostracised by him. They don't feel like he's communicating enough. And you watch that performance, you think, that can't be true.
Yeah, I saw that. And it came out like a day after I read a report of the Spurs fans are loving Nuno. He's communicating with them. Like, it was just ridiculous. Like, it completely contradicted each other.
It came from the same source as well, same paper.
Yeah.
Did it?
Exactly. It was the Athletic, I think it was.
Was it the Athletic?
For the online paper, whatever the hell they are.
Okay. But yeah, what I like, Pete, and like you just kind of alluding to there, he had like two very obvious styles that I enjoyed, which I thought were a bit different to Mourinho. One being the front three could stay higher up. Definitely much higher up than they were allowed to ever under Mourinho, where they became wing backs and they had a long way to go. So like, as soon as Moura picked it up or Bergman picked it up, gone. And partly that was down to City and how messy they were in terms of their organisation, but also down to Nuno saying like, you can stay higher up and be brave and do try and do it. Like Lucas flicks it over his shoulder for the start of the counter attack for it to go up and score the goal. So that's being brave. There's courage in that. But also, I really liked the which I didn't see us doing, the way he defended. So the front three came in very central, and they kind of just stood around Fernandinho, almost like they come right in together, and they allowed them to go out to the fullbacks, which often you'd be like big no-no, Nuno, against City. But for some reason he picked that
silly.
out. How we're going to do it, and it worked terrifically. It really did. Ollie, what did you? I bet you were so pleased, weren't you? Smiling ear to ear. Look
I wasn't for the first 15 minutes. I was terrified for the first 15 minutes.
That was terrifying.
So I think, as proud as I was of the performance, it could have easily gone as well in 15 minutes because they missed some chances. The Mahrez one and the Cancelo one, I think, that he's played. I don't know how they missed either of those. I can't
remember the Cancelo one.
It was like in the box. He just shanked it straight wide. It was bad. But that being said, once we'd worked them out, I think there was a little bit of time where we were trying to work out our tactic, work out their tactics, and that's what that first 50 minutes was, I think. So yeah, it was just a great performance. I mean, defense, they were so fast out and like just aggressive all the time, and it was just. I know a lot of the Wolves teams were kind of spoke about. I think it's even in the documentary. I think Mourinho talks about when you play Wolves, they have to fight. And that's what you could see a lot of as well. And like you look at a lot of our defenders and like Tanganga in particular, it's just the aggression was just phenomenal, and that's what fans like. And I think because of that, I think the ref deserves a lot of credit as well because I know they've said about allowing a lot more to go and not being so sort of reliant on VAR and which I think is fantastic and it's absolutely the right decision. And I think this game proved that because there was a lot of firm tackles that went in that last season would have just been fouls, just done. And it did get annoying last year, and it was nice to see that they've cut that out a bit more this year.
And booking after booking.
Yeah, it was just crazy. But just watching the game, I said to my friends, and they said to me, you're getting carried away and stuff because I was how happy I was with the performance. And also I said, even if we'd lost, I still would have felt the same because it looks like there was a plan. You could see a clear plan of what we tried to do. Like you said, Jez, there was clearly a 4-3-3 formation that was interchanging, moving around, and we were snapping out, getting out into positions. And it was just nice to see. And, it really highlighted the fact that maybe we weren't a bad team last season. And we all believe we were just Kane and Son because of how Mourinho set us up. And I think it just proved that we've actually got a very good squad, and it was just very, very poorly managed last year. And I saw Bergwijn was talking today, I think it was on Sky, and he made an interesting comment talking about the pre-season. They've been doing so much training, like double sessions, all of these things. And he says that he thinks the fitness helped them in the last 15 minutes to not drop back, which is something we said about all of last season. They don't look fit. They don't look fit enough to play for 90 minutes, which they now do. Yeah. And we didn't concede in the last minute when we were 1-0 up. So already that must be a massive boost of confidence for the boys to know that the work they're doing is good work and it's going to help them throughout the season, which is what we wanted, which we were screaming out for it. And just Mourinho, just shit, mate. So just go ruin AS Roma for us as well, please. For the love of God.
Immediately validates and vindicates everything that Nuno's done with them in pre-season. So you think it's very hard for anyone to sort of be a naysayer.
His Wolves sides were always stronger in the second half, weren't they?
Very aggressive.
And they always set up to finish 0-0 at half time and then go and get people in the second half sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, they just looked a million times fitter.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Which is great.
Well, I was saying that in our group chat, wasn't I? So like we look 10 times better. I thought they looked tired about half an hour in. Like they look. If you watch, I watched the highlights a couple of times to be honest since the game.
You have to,
particularly when we get the goal. Mendy, Fernandinho, two other players. I can't remember. jogging back, so slowly jogging back, not putting in any effort or energy to try and get back and help out. It was almost if they either couldn't or they were like, they won't score.
Yeah. It was quite poor defending when you watch it. I think
really poor.
Because Bergwijn's running through, isn't he? I think Cancelo cuts across to him. And then rather than following the ball to cut off Son to make another centre half, he runs off to right back.
Yeah.
And it just leaves...
He follows Stevie.
Yeah, okay. he follows someone. It's a really bad decision because it leaves a massive gap that Son just turns on Ake and shoots in. And if he's there, we probably don't score, if I'm honest. Because he could fill that gap easy, but he runs off and then they just hold back forwards all over the place. So, Son scored.
It's a great finish, but we were really benefited by. I don't think Diaz's position was awful. He got caned for where he went.
It was over, didn't he?
That bad, but he was in a position where he could have blocked it, but he kind of stumbles, so his leg doesn't come out. And
it almost looked like his studs got stuck or something.
Yeah,
stuck in the turf, and he.
Exactly that. So his knee goes towards the ball because his foot can't get out. And then Ederson obviously expects him to block it, so it just becomes a bit of a mess and goes into the corner. It's a good finish, but it probably shouldn't have gone in.
I saw on Twitter there was loads of clips of him on the floor after goals being scored. So it's a common thing. I think he falls over a lot. Yes. It was like a thread of just him on the floor and people scoring behind him. It did make me chuckle. It was very good. But
give him credit. He is a great defender. In his first game of the season, I'm sure he'll brush that off and City will be fine.
They do say now is the best time to play City, don't they? Because they always start slow. And
it's great.
Pep's not scored against us at the new stadium yet. That's incredible. 4 games.
I did see that. Yeah, I did see that. We've been terrific against it. We're not their bogey team now.
We've massively on their bogey. I think we've always been their bogey team, though.
Let it stay in their head. Let it stay in their head and play and play and play until it rots them from the inside.
Did you see that? Us also, Spurs is also the most away games that Pep's ever lost against the same opponent in his career. It's like 5 or something.
Give us a trophy for it.
Bloody give us something.
We've earned it.
We love trophies.
Let's quickly touch on and let's go into the big performance actually. Like our main men. I mean, let's talk about Jaffet first because now Peter, I know he wasn't your man of the match.
He wasn't, no.
Was my knowledge, but we'll come on to yours next.
You made that sound like I said he was terrible.
You did.
You're a scumbag, mate.
Okay.
And you never give him credit. You hate him. You hate Jaffet.
In our review, you actually forced him to have a card he never had. And you tainted all of our minds about that.
He did, yeah. He's got a yellow
I thought he got booked when Lloris got called over. And you all blindly followed me, you stupid idiot.
Only because I said he'd been subbed, and you put it, well, he has been booked. So I assumed he'd been booked and then subbed.
Yeah, and then you, Ollie, took some of his rating off him for it.
I did. I then gave him back because he wasn't booked, because I was misinformed.
Yeah.
Which is completely fair. But let's talk about it a little bit, because I don't want to underplay how impressive it is for a young man to go out there and dominate both Raheem Sterling and Grealish. Because Grealish was playing as like the same, wasn't he? But really, he just kept going out to left wing because that's natural. To do. So sometimes they were doubling up on him. He was incredible. Like, it wasn't like, I think Gary Neville spoke about it a bit afterwards, and he was saying how he basically, that's not a performance I could have done. He said, I couldn't have done that. I'd have been pulling in Beckham. I'd have been pulling in my centre mid. I'd have been making sure I had support at all times to deal with one of Raheem Sterling or Jack Grealish, let alone both of them. And he was like, Tanganga was getting left alone for one-on-ones consistently, and it was fine. And obviously Nuno had said to him, you're going to deal with that. I'm not going to pull Moura back. I'm going to let Moura stay up. Yeah, it was definitely a plan because it happened from the off. And that little clip of him knocking down Grealish straight away, and then he literally kicks him in the back.
Sort of like there's a little...
I love that. And then he helps him up. And I thought to myself, lovely boy off the pitch, beast on it. And I'm happy with that. You'd say that's a player you want on your side. That is a teammate that you want. And he was meant to be going out on loan to Galatasaray 2 days ago.
Yeah.
What's the...
He won't go now. How bad was the Suns' ratings? Did you see the Suns' ratings?
All like a 6 or something.
They gave Tanganga a 6, and I only realised this the other day. I thought that's bad enough that you've just given him a 6, which was the same as Cancelo, which is mental, and also the same as Romero and Lo Celso, who came on with like however many minutes to go. The kid was phenomenal. Like, like you said, Jez, you can't understate how good a performance that was against two of the best wingers in the country.
The Salah.
Do we think that right back is his position going forward? Because there was a lot of debate. I know, obviously, as everyone knows, that Tanganga was our 18-19 player of the season. So obviously, he might be
I love him.
as we move on. In fact, I might make a claim that he does become our new title for the pod. Anyway, yeah, do we think that he could potentially be that right back that we've kind of been looking for, that we weren't really convinced he might be able to do, but swayed our minds a little bit?
I don't think he needs to be. Or I don't think he needs to be told what position he's playing it.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? He's still 19?
22.
Yeah, he's a bit older, I think.
22 now. Old man. He's an old man. He needs a position. Nail down a position right now. Get your head together. No, I don't think he massively needs to. In my opinion, he still looks like his best position would be the right side of a back three. But I don't begrudge him as a right back. And I think if you're looking at Tomiyasu, who is a defensive right back, who ultimately probably is more comfortable centre back as well, do you need to bring him in? Because you've already got Tanganga, who potentially his ceiling will be higher. I think he's a fantastic player. So I would put him down as a centre back. I don't know about you, Pete. What do you reckon?
I don't know. The couple of times I've seen him play centre half has not been as good as the times he's played at right back. I've seen him play centre half and he's looked a little bit sloppy. I think at right back you can get away with a little bit more in terms of giving the ball away. And giving the ball away, you can get away with it a little bit more than you can as a centre half. Whereas, you know, the first time we see him against Liverpool, he was phenomenal against Mane.
Yeah.
And he's done it again against Grealish and Sterling. So personally, I mean, you can't judge him on 6 performances or whatever, but the times I've seen him play at right back, he looks a better right back than he does a centre back.
Yeah, that's a fair point, Pete. You're spot on. Like Mark Mane out of the game, dealt with Grealish and Sterling. Every time he's played right back, he's played very well. Physically, he's built for it. He played spray, by the way.
He played in a cup game as well, didn't he, at right back? I think it was against someone from the Championship. It might have been Nottingham Forest or something. And there was a point.
Was it Norwich he played?
I feel like they played in red. In my head, anyway.
Was they up the wing?
That's what I was going to say. Like 80th, 85th minute, or whatever it was, where he just kept bombing on, and he just ran us out of trouble at one point, which was fantastic. So yeah, personally, I actually do think he'd be a better right back. I'd try and pin him down as one if Nuno can.
Jaff, just please don't get injured, for the love of God. Stop getting injured, man.
that's the big worry, isn't it? He's heavy, a lot of injuries at a very young age is quite concerning. But I also just want to quickly mention his spray that he played across the day.
Yeah,
like everything he was doing terrific, absolute beast, bullying them, shrugging them off, running past them at times. Nice passes, nothing too crazy. He plays within himself. He knows his style. But that's what I was thinking the whole time. And then he just went, you know what? I've actually got a crossfield ping in my head. And I was like, where the hell did that come from? So pleased to see it. Because he can't even really cross, can he? But he's suddenly like, yeah, but I can do this. What about this pass?
Yeah, he did put in one really good cross that I thought he was absolutely going to spank out. When he's coming in the half volley and he just caressed it back in. And I thought he was going to just hit it as hard as he could.
Is that the one that Moore took off on his head?
Yeah, that was a lovely
It was Middlesbrough, by the way, the FA Cup game.
Okay. Middlesbrough, fair.
Yeah, I thought he was going to hoof that.
Let's roll on to Peter's man of the match, Lucas Moura. And I'm not saying it's an awful shout, but for me it was Jappet. But Peter, tell us why you went for Lucas.
I just thought it wasn't much in it, you bastards. I obviously had Jappet in there very highly, but I just felt like that was it was an intelligent performance from Moura, I thought. He picked up the ball well and he drove at people, and he was what we've wanted him to be, that we've seen glimpses of in little pockets of games that we want him to do all the time. And he did it for 90 minutes, and that's the first time I've seen him do it for us. And I just thought he was fantastic. I thought he carried the ball superbly well. The front three, they clicked really nicely, actually. And that is frightening, as any defender in the country will be terrified of those three coming at you because they are just pace, aren't they? All three of them. Sonny, obviously, a better footballer than the other two, but yeah, I just thought he was phenomenal. I thought he was brave. I thought he was smart with his what he did. There was maybe one or two where I was a bit like, he tried to slip one inside Mendy at one point. I can't remember who it was to. It might have been Højbjerg. Yeah, and he should have gone outside him. It was like he was playing FIFA for. Yeah, he was playing FIFA for a little bit where he tried to slip it inside.
It was know your players as well. Of course.
Yeah.
Højbjerg.
Exactly. But yeah, I just thought he was really, really good. And that's the best I've seen him in a Spurs shirt again since the Champions League semi-final.
He's had. Oh, go on.
I love the moment where it was like the 88th minute, and then I think he's got the ball around Grealish. He's gone round him, and then he fouls him. It doesn't really touch him at all, and he just goes down. And Grealish is giving him like abuse for diving, and it's just so perfectly poetic because that's all great. That's a lot of what Jack Grealish does. Not diving, but going down very easily.
Lucas just mugged him then, didn't he? As
well,
yeah,
it's so good. I think he mugged Fernandinho as well, didn't he? Before that, and he just kept coming inside. But
his dribbling was excellent. And how often do we say that? He's the best dribbler who doesn't dribble past anyone.
Yeah, absolutely.
So thank God he was actually doing it.
Absolutely.
He didn't necessarily make too many runs in behind, but he did run forward, and that's what we're asking him to do. And we also spoke about the potential of Nuno getting a good tune out of him, and bring maybe that sort of a Dharma style. I know obviously Traore, some people again, which could be compared to Lucas, worry about the final product. But I do think that Nuno got a lot more out of Adama Traore than anyone else, any other coach has. Yeah. So the hope is definitely there that he can bring Lucas on. Lucas had a great preseason as well. Nuno has never lost a game as Tottenham manager. So, and also he's my last top performer actually. If we were going like the big three performers, you got Jaffet, Lucas, and you've got to give a big nudge to Nuno.
The subs are a bit weird, but apart from that, I was happy.
Sorry,
some of the subs were a bit odd, but
yeah, they were a little bit odd. Well, Jaffet had been booked just like Peter.
Maybe he did. Maybe he was just misinformed by his staff. Who knows?
Before we roll on, I do want to give a little mention as well to the fact that Davinson Sanchez, who we have
hammered,
constantly slammed many times, was also incredible. Oh, and Skip and Højbjerg, many of the players were awesome. But I do want to give a little nod to Davinson because I thought he was excellent. And they said he'd come back from apparently he'd come back from training really confident because he heard other teams wanted him. Isn't that quite sweet?
He's strolling in like smiling and just straight his stuff. He's got a nice pass on him as well. He did make a couple of nice pings, to be fair, that were
where'd they come from? And on the ground as well. He was great.
At the end against De Bruyne, where he slides in, takes the ball beautifully, steps up, and then just plays a straight killer pass just through like three players. Like
the crowd loved that challenge. I tell you what else, the crowd, and I got really buzzed by it as well. Delhi come out and he done a weird side foot challenge, knocked someone over, ran to get another one, but before he could get there, Bergwijn comes out and slid and won the ball. And I was like, we're fucking up for this, aren't we? Go on, boys. I absolutely love it. Sit in my living room. Come on! Come on, boys.
I loved it in the build up to the Davinson Sanchez challenge as well. Even Delhi, it's an awful tackle. Yeah. And if he catches him, he probably gets sent off rather than booked. But I love that desire. Just, you're not scoring. We're not losing this game. I'll bring you down properly.
It
was a bad tackle, wasn't it? I thought
that's what I mean. If he'd have caught him, he'd have gone, I think. But still,
I think
then he would have been suspended for 3 games, and Gio could have played it.
Really
perfect.
Skip one didn't get in the corner as well. He absolutely wiped someone out beautifully. Great game, didn't he? He started slowly and then really picked up. He could very easily give away a penalty at the start, and then just picked up the game, got up with the pace of it, and he'd be a player, I think.
He lost the ball as well, didn't he, right at the start? For the one where Lloris comes out, that's Skip lose. I know, I think it is that, where Skip loses the ball. He gets caught under his feet and he's a little bit nervous at the start.
He always wants the ball. Every time you see him, he's got hands out and he's making angles all the time, which is massive. We didn't have that last year. Our midfielders last year were scared to get the ball off the centre halves and the right back, left back and play with it, which he doesn't, which is good. They're going to make mistakes.
You just hope there can be a bit of a momentum. I mean, our fixtures are quite nice now, aren't they? Who we got? Wolves
away, Watford after that,
Crystal Palace.
Maybe. And we've got the European games against that weird team that might be.
Those games. But you hope that's going to be all the kids. You would hope.
And Kane.
Well, on that note, Ollie, let's roll on to our next topic.